Hey, and welcome to the Mickey and Minutes podcast, the short Disney show.
Quick conversations, information, and inspiration.
I'm your host, Nick Lazaga.
And I'm Andy Gootz.
Let's go! Hey, what's going on, Andrew?
Hello, Nicholas. We're back again, man. How you doing?
We are back. Yes, man. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, man. Feel like it's been a little busy.
It has. Yeah, little behind the scenes. That last episode that came out that we released, we recorded that so long before we released it. And so it feels like it's been forever since we
That's
talked.
true. Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah.
But anyways, it's awesome to get back behind these mics and talk more Disney with you.
That's what we do, man.
All right. So this topic is something that we both feel passionately about. And I know that a lot of people in the Disney community kind of feel passionately about this too. We love going to the parks, right?
It's literally our favorite thing in the world to do is to go to Disney World or Disneyland.
Exactly. That's what we do, right? Sports fans go to games, right? Disney fans, we go to the parks.
That's what we do.
And yeah, but Andrew, you know that sometimes experiences can be kind of ruined. You know, like we could be having a great time and then something can happen and it shakes it up, right? It ruins it for everybody.
Every single park goer, every single regular Disney theme park goer has those things that happen in the park that just kind of just get to you a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we can call them pet peeves, right? The little things that bother you in the parks. And, you know, generally speaking, they're due to other guests. It's not so much that, like, you know, anyone's entitled to have a better vacation than anybody else. I feel like it should be a common sense thing that we all just kind of respect each other. But there's been so much happening in the world, you know, not just Disney World, but in the world in general. And with social media being what it is, we're able to see so much more of the stuff that happens at Walt Disney World, especially. Like, Andrew, like you've seen people like getting out of ride vehicles and like walking through, you know, the show scenes at things, right?
Oh,
like,
dude, that actually happened to me real time once. Like
really?
I was, on Splash Mountain. They stopped the ride because somebody got out of the boat and started just walking amongst the animatronics.
Did you see them?
Yes, we did. And then,
my goodness.
Yeah, they were literally right behind us. And then the guy came out. I was like, "Hey, man, we literally have y'all on camera walking around. Like that happened. Y'all did that. Can you
That's
not,
wild.
please?"
Yeah, man. Like seeing that video.
Fights that are breaking out at the entryway to Main Street USA.
So many fights. What is happening?
Like, why are you fighting? Like, if you're in any sort of altercation at Disney World, check yourself.
You're at Disney World, people. Yeah, exactly. What was that one person, you know, who got out during Living with the Land and like pulled like a vegetable off of a...
Oh, it just started like eating a carrot. It just started like eating a Mickey-shaped carrot.
A cucumber or something. Like, come on. We got to know better.
Just do better. We got to be. And so when we talk about these, y'all, you know, we're not trying to rant or, you know, be negative, but more even so
or tear other people down.
Tear other people down. But also just we want to provide some information upon your next trip to Disney that if you catch yourself in one of these situations, maybe just think about how it's affecting the other park guests or, you know, be a little bit more patient with someone who's doing it because you know that others feel the same way that you do about the situation.
That's all we want. We all want to enjoy this place. So we've come up with a list of 6, you know, 3 for me, 3 for Andrew, of our Disney parks pet peeves. So yeah, let's just jump right in, Andrew.
This is our Disney cotillion. This is us just discussing proper Disney park etiquette per Mickey minutes.
If you hear something that you've done, just be aware. It's annoying. Okay.
All right, man. So, take us away. What's number one?
My number one, and this is one that just, oh my gosh, I can't even with this. Talking during attractions. Okay. Ooh. Now I'm going to be specific here. I'm not talking about like, you know, screaming on a roller coaster, you know, having a good time on Guardians and singing along with this. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those very specific, quiet, dark rides that are very, you know, atmospheric that, you know, you want to enjoy the story. Those, like, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
like Pirates of the Caribbean, man. Like those boats and pirates are big. They can fit a lot of people.
Yes, they can.
So you get like one noisy party and it can ruin the entire ride. Or Haunted Mansion.
The illusion gets ruined if someone is heckling the skeleton during Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah.
Right?
Or like people singing happy birthday out loud to the person in their boat. Andrew, this happened to me. We were on Pirates, the
Like,
boat
this
ahead
sounds
of us.
very specific, Nick. This
It
sounds
was
very specific.
Oh, I have specifics for you, Andrew. It's happening.
Because
No,
someone singing
like
happy birthday
people literally on the top of their lungs during
on
the
what?
ride.
In what ride?
Pirates of the
In
Caribbean.
Pirates.
It's like, all right, you're outside for most of the day in Disney World. Sing outside, man. Like, you want to have conversations. Another specific example, don't talk about your dining reservations during Navi River Journey. That boat holds like 4 people. My wife and I were like, we were sitting in the boat. There were 2 people behind us, and they were not even whispering. They were just having a full level conversation about where they were going to go eat that night.
Oof.
And it's like, you turn around, you kind of do like the look,
Yeah.
and like,
Yep. At least
and
once.
some people just don't get it. And I don't understand, like, some of these lines are so long. You have so much time to talk. Why do you have to talk
During the
a
ride.
short attraction,
And it makes it seem like you don't care, right? Like you don't care that you're on the ride if you're gonna act that way, right? I mean, if you're willing to have just a casual conversation during like a dark ride that's meant to entertain you, then
Why are you there?
Then why go on the ride at all? Exactly. Yeah, dude. I can. I would have gotten. I would have gotten irked as well.
I have so many other stories of this like type of thing happening. Like, dude, this one time we were on Haunted Mansion. It was like the last ride of the night. It was closing, like to the point where my wife and I were like 2 of 4 people in the stretching room. And these 2 other people, they must have been like on a date or something, but they were just talking at full volume about like their likes and their dislikes and this and that. They got in the dune buggies and they were just talking full volume. Like, yes, you're separated in dune buggies, but your voice carries.
Your voice carries.
And it was just kind of like, I was excited. I was like, ooh, we're gonna have the stretching room all to ourselves. It's gonna be so spooky and cool. And I thought, how
you were ruined by two lovebirds, by by young love.
That also kind of goes along with talking along with the narration for rides. So like,
I'm guilty of that. I'm sorry. I'm guilty of that, Nick.
Andrew, we all are.
The problem.
I've done that before too, and I've caught myself and be like, you know what? Some people in this stretching room, have never heard this before.
I can't show off. This is not my time to show off right now.
Exactly. And, honestly, who are you showing off to? Because it's either people who have never heard this before or other people who also know the stretching room spiel.
It's not really impressive. We all know it too, Nick.
Exactly. Like, I mean, gosh, I'm guilty of sitting in Carousel of Progress and reciting the entire show. But, I have to stop myself because other people are trying to enjoy it for the first time. And that's really what it comes down to, Think about other people. And that's kind of the theme of today's show. Think about
other people. Moral of the story, this one, you're on the dark ride, be entertained. Let the
that's
illusion
what you're there for.
Yeah, let the illusion of the ride hit you and submerge yourself in it, because that's the idea, right?
Exactly. When we had a rowdy boat on Pirates this one time, Chelsea was like, pirates are pretty rowdy. Just pretend they're just other pirates. And I was like, well played.
There it is. There's Chelsea making lemonade out of lemons. Good for her.
All right, Andrew, what's your number one?
My number one, it's the act of you're in a busy narrow walkway, but there is a very cool item or piece of scenery to take a picture next to, right? It's just the groups of people that take a little bit too much time to take a picture in a very busy area. Right? I mean, you want to snap a quick pic, ask someone to take your picture for you, do your thing, you're out, awesome. But it's the bigger groups of families that, all right, now we need a picture with mom and dad, all right, now just mom, now just dad. And
they're blocking a walkway.
They're blocking a walkway, and you don't want to be rude, but you also want to get to where you're going.
Yeah, it's like, I got a lightning lane, people. Move along.
This is time is money. And so you mentioned the look that you give to someone on a ride, right?
Yes,
so there's that
look.
Everyone that's listening to this knows, right? It's like what do I say something? Like, can I pass it? Can I?
Yeah, it's like, can I just walk by, like, really quick?
Just real quick.
Just walk through. Yeah, I get it, man.
But I don't want to ruin your picture either, and then I'm gonna feel bad about myself the rest of the day.
I'm picturing
not a good situation.
I'm picturing a very specific narrow walkway. Like, I'm picturing
what's in your mind right now?
Like, by like behind the castle, like when you're walking by like Sleepy Hollow refreshments, that backside of the castle, like where.
Yes.
Yep. That's really that bottleneck's there, and people like take that castle pic, and that's great. But it's also like,
be in and out. Do your thing. Yeah. Take a pic.
These influencers, man. They got to get their
They gotta get their TikTok in, man. They gotta get that TikTok.
Yeah,
They do. I mean, and no, we're no disrespect to influencers
No.
because
Andrew,
by some degree,
we're not
I was just
influencers.
gonna say by some degree, because some degree we are now influencers. And the next time that we go to Disney, we might be guilty, so we will call ourselves out. But just
Gotta film those TikToks, man.
Be aware
Yeah,
that someone's trying to get by.
I get that, and the taking forever to take pictures, like that can be really frustrating sometimes. Like, if you're waiting in line for a photo pass, but that's, I had this one time, man, and this wasn't like our fault. And I love the cast members for this,
Yeah.
but like we went to go take this picture from a photo pass, and I swear they had us do like 400 poses. And I'm thinking like I'm done. Like I'm done taking pictures.
That's not your fault. That's the cast member.
But I'm not going to be, because they're doing like their job. They're getting these fun pics,
Yep.
and the pictures turned out great. But like, we were with some friends, and they were looking through my Disney experience, and they're like, "Did you guys have a photo shoot?" There's like 100 pictures in front of this.
Yes, we did. No shame.
Like,
yes, we did. I feel like a photo pass line is a little bit of an exception because that's a designated place to take a picture.
What about like characters? Like, what about, people taking a really long time with character interactions for pictures? Does that bother you?
Not as much because you waited in line. You have a little bit of a right.
You kind of know that there's like a wait time for that.
Yes, exactly. But
it's the people who block the walk
when you're trying to get by, like this in a public space where there is no line. You're just trying to like get from A to B.
Can we just couple this also with the people who just stop walking in the middle of? It's like you're walking behind someone and they just stop. You inevitably like run into them, and then it's your fault you ran into them.
Yes.
It's like, why did you stop walking?
And like, because like the laws of traffic apply there. Like move over to the shoulder if you're gonna
exactly, and like, the left versus right, what direction you're walking. That kind of does apply with pedestrian walking.
We're all guilty. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it.
We've all done this.
We're calling ourselves out too, but yes, it is definitely.
Like sometimes you got to check your My Disney
phone.
Experience app,
exactly.
But you got to move out of the way.
Perfect pairing.
There we go.
That won't count. That'll still be included in mine.
Okay,
What's your next one?
All right. So my next one, again, it goes along with the dark rides, because this is really where my pet peeve is. We go to these places, the Disney parks, to experience these attractions and to be taken into another world. And the Disney Imagineers are geniuses, and they think of literally everything to make these attractions as immersive as possible. And one of those often overlooked elements is lighting, right? The lighting effects in these rides are so important. And so when they say no flash pictures, please, right?
There's a reason.
There's a reason, and it's not so much because they don't want you taking pictures of the ride. No, it's because they've spent countless hours making the lighting perfect for the effects to work in these dark rides, that, you shine a flashlight, a flash, and it ruins the whole effect. Sometimes it reveals how the effect is made.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it just makes the effect not work,
That's why you don't ride. That's why you ride the ride with the lights off. That's
exactly. That's why it's called a dark ride.
Yeah.
So, the people who will take flash pictures, or who will just film the ride with the flash on entire time.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I going to do? Like knock on the back of your Doom buggy and say, "Excuse me, can you turn your light off?" Like, you can't do that. But, it's just this idea of like, you can film the rides, and, some rides they say you can't. But to turn your flash
Just turn
off.
the flash off. Turn the flash off. That it's not that much to ask. But on this note of I guess when we talk about filming the rides and kind of being in the moment, Nicholas, you're a concert goer. What's your opinion on filming
Okay,
the concert?
Dude, all right. It's funny that you say this, because that's kind of what I was thinking also. So like, I'm fine with, and this is going to kind of bleed into my third one. So we'll talk about this also at that point. But again, sometimes where you're sitting, your flash will not reach the stage anyways. And all you're doing is illuminating the back of someone's head.
Yes.
And it's kind of annoying, because again, concerts are the same kind of thing. There's stage lighting. Like, that's an entire job for a concert. It's the lighting. and they do that to make the concerts more enjoyable. And this also kind of goes with the talking thing, Andrew. So like, gosh, all right, here's a perfect example. I was at a Jonas Brothers concert. So we were sitting there, and these two women next to me, they had been, really enjoying themselves with beverages the entire night.
Understood.
And so, Jonas Brothers are performing, and they're sitting directly next to me having a full volume conversation about, this person said that, and oh, did you hear about that? And I'm like, why? There's a lobby. You want to go talk in the lobby, but don't sit here the entire concert and talk. And then like, I'm sitting there, so I'm tuning them out and I'm enjoying and I'm singing along. And the lady turns to me and she goes, "You're just having so much fun. You're such a great concert buddy." And I'm thinking, lady, you are not a good concert buddy. I'm ignoring you.
Oh my God. Every next time we go to a show together, I'm just going to start referring to you as my concert buddy.
There you go. Yes.
Okay. But getting back into it though. Yes. No lights in a dark ride. It's intuitive.
Can I add to that? Glowing screens.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Friends, if you're gonna play on your phone, if you're gonna scroll Instagram during a ride, why are you on the ride?
Correct.
It goes back to the idea that there's so much time in Disney World where you're not on ride. Really, the time spent on rides is like the shortest amount of time of your whole trip.
That's a good point. That is the point.
If you seriously can't put your phone down and stop scrolling for the length of the Haunted Mansion, then you have a problem. And,
I agree.
You got to think about that. It's disruptive to other people. It really is. That's what it comes down to.
Think of others. That's the theme. That's the theme. Think of others. That's the theme. Yeah.
Exactly, man. Oh, goodness. Andrew, what's your next one?
On that note of thinking of others, all right, I'm giving you another situation here. It's late. Park is closed. Time to get on the buses to go back to your amazing hotel.
Whew.
You are crammed into that bus, and seats are limited. And there's always a situation where there is just a very, very able-bodied person sitting in a chair when a mother holding a child walks in, or
I have a child.
I have a child, or a grandparent walks into the bus, and someone who is able-bodied does not give up their seat to someone who actually needs it. Ooh, I can't stand that. I cannot stand that. I mean, I'm sorry. We're not here to like shame people.
No, but this is a human decency thing, though.
Yeah,
like,
man.
This isn't even a Disney thing specifically. This is just be a good person, man.
Be a good person. Give
what
up
happened
your
to
seat.
Chivalry, man? Like, I agree with you, Andrew. Give up your bus seat for people who need it, man. I feel like I hardly ever sit down.
Yeah,
on the
correct.
Bus. I'm always standing.
We should be standing. If there is
we're
no
young able-bodied men,
if there is no seat left and people are crammed, we should be standing.
Yep. There should never be, an elderly person holding on to the handrails. Like, that should never be the case. There should never be a mom with a child, or whatever. Like, I feel like we got to bring back chivalry, man. Like, we go to these Disney parks, we see all the princes and all these, wonderful acts, and then we get on a bus and we can't.
And it all goes out the window. It all goes out the window.
Man, I agree with you, Andrew.
I wouldn't even go so far to say is like, even if they're like, if you have a kid that's like a teen and is sitting down, tell your kid to get up. Let the lady holding the infant child sit down on the seat.
This kind of thing needs to be taught, man. Like, I'll tell you, I'm a teacher. I teach third grade.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that I have to explicitly teach to children that they don't inherently know, and apparently people aren't teaching these kind of things to their kids. Like, ladies first, hold the door open for a woman. Like, that's a very standard thing, and I have to tell my boys that all the time. My students, like, hold the door open for her. And
just put yourself last in certain situations, right? If you're at a family style dinner, serve everybody else first, serve yourself last.
Exactly.
Right?
It's just these common decency thing. And that's really everything we've said on this list kind of comes down to that idea of, like, just be a good person. Like, just think about other people.
Think about it. Think about think about what you're doing right now.
Exactly. Like, gosh, yeah. Give up that bus seat, man. I agree.
All right, man. So, keep going.
With that one, my next one sounds kind of petty.
What is it?
Because that's a real like heavy hitter, man. Like, all right. One of the things we like to do there at the parks. We want to watch shows, and some attractions and some shows, they involve watching stuff, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes, they do.
I think it's, again, common courtesy to do what you can to not block other people's views. Now,
Mm.
there's some things you can't really do about that. Like, some people are just tall people,
Yes.
and what are you gonna do about that? Not a big deal, you know.
Get on your knees.
Get on your But besides being tall, there's things that people do, and maybe it's something that they don't think about that they're doing, but it blocks people's views. And one of the ones that really bothers me is, the ladies in your super cute mini ears. They look adorable, but take them off during certain things. So, for example, like, you're going into PhilharMagic. Take your ears off. That adds an extra, like, what, 3, 4, 5 inches sometimes, to your height. That blocks the screen. Another one, very
Also,
specific.
fellas with your Mickey ears as well.
Mickey ears as well. Yeah, I'm not singling out. You got those big ears.
Just the ladies. Just the ladies.
Exactly.
Take them off.
I'm not saying like guys take off like baseball caps. Like, that's fine. That doesn't add any height. Something that adds height.
The ears do. Ears do.
So, like, very specifically, man, Star Tours. You're sitting at Star Tours. That's a small room. The screen isn't humongous. And, if you're sitting directly behind someone who's wearing their mini ears, that blocks a lot of the screen. Like, I've literally had to have entire Star Tours experiences where I'm having to lean to watch, Another example, like when watching fireworks shows, especially ones with projections, so like Happily Ever After.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Take off the ears, but also balloons. I think a lot of people don't think about the balloons. Like, but the balloons, a bunch of balloons in your line of sight, that blocks, some of the castle projections. Just lower the balloon. Just lower it down.
Yeah. Just hold it closer to you.
Exactly. I kind of have like a rule of thumb, and this kind of goes to the concert thing as well.
Okay.
If your eyes can see, then your kid can see, right? So, like, if you're carrying your kid to see the show, hold them about your eye level, and they can see if you can see, right? Same thing with like recording on phones. You're asking about recording shows. That's fine if it's at your eye level.
Okay.
But don't hold it above your head, because then you
Fair.
have your arms up the whole time, and your
Fair.
screen and your arms are blocking people behind you. It's just those kind of things that just be a little bit more considerate. Like, yes, kids need to see the show and they're short, but they don't need to see above everyone's head. Again,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And that's
I like
that.
that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because being piggyback rides, being on shoulders, that's way too
cute.
much. That's way.
That's cute when you're walking around the parks, but not during the show.
Yes. I like that a lot. If you could, if your eyes can see, so can theirs.
Exactly.
And that goes with anything, even with your phones.
Exactly, with your phones as well. And I get if you want to get like a cool shot with your phone, hold it above your head for a second, but don't film the whole show. Like, I'm not standing behind you to watch Happily Ever After through your phone. Correct. And also, are you really going to watch that video? You're going to go home and watch your entire 15-minute video of Happily Ever After? You're not. You just annoyed people behind you for no reason. You're probably going to take a 30-second clip and post it on social media, and that's awesome. That's fine. But it doesn't need to be above your head.
And space is already so limited just in the grassy knoll areas anyways, with any sort of firework viewings and whatnot. And especially too, like if you've got a fast pass for something like that, right? Or a lightning lane for that. And you use one of your precious, time slots for a fireworks viewing only for the person in front of you, just to being like, nah, whatever, man.
Yeah. Or if you staked out that spot, you were there for like an hour and you got the great spot for Happily Ever After, and then all of a sudden someone comes up in front of you and puts their kids on their shoulder. It's like, come on.
Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's like, hey, could you please?
You can't be like,
could you have having a good time with your kid, please, so I can watch the show.
And like I said, it sounds kind of petty, like, but it's also like it's a considerate thing, because again, like we've been saying, if you can see, then they can see. If you can see, then your phone can see. And please don't even with the iPads, man.
these huge iPads they're filming the whole thing.
Some of these new phones are basically the size of iPads.
That's true. They are.
So, again, it's just be aware of your surroundings. So, like, even when I go to concerts, I usually like look like who's behind me. And like if I'm gonna like stand up, during a concert, I want to know who's behind me and like where I can stand and be considerate. Like there was a time I went to go see Fall Out Boy, and I was standing up and I was kind of rocking out, and then I turned around and I had a moment of self-realization. I turned around to the woman behind me. I was like, "I'm so sorry. Can you see? Like, am I blocking you?" And she was like, "No, like I can still see, and I'm having a really great time watching you rock out. You keep doing your thing." I was like, "Okay," and that's just being a good human,
Great concert, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Great concert, buddy.
She was a great concert buddy.
Exactly. But it's all, and that's the kind of thing. Like if you're watching a parade of fire, like we've all been through a long day at Magic Kingdom. We're all tired.
Yes.
We're all grumpy at this point. Just that little bit of human decency, like you said with the buses.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
Strive to be somebody's good fireworks buddy.
Exactly.
Okay, my very last one. It could seem petty as well, a little bit, but we've all been there. And it's when you're in a situation when you have to ride standby, right? We all have to do it from time to time. We can't always get the lightning lane that we want
Part of
when
life,
we
man.
want it. It's a part of life. It's a part of Disney. So we're
Or the
riding
premiere
standby
pass.
or the premiere. That is a whole nother pod. That is going to be a whole nother pod. Is talking about that bad boy because I have so many thoughts about that.
Spicy answer. I like
So many
this.
thoughts.
Okay.
But you're waiting in standby, and you have that one person that is just cutting the line with the excuse of, I get just my party's up. Can you mind? I'm sorry, my party's up there. My party's up there. And your party very well could be up there.
They might be, yeah.
It might not be. We're so far behind in line. We don't know. We're just letting you pass. But in general, try your best to stay with your party. That is, we all do it. We really should be staying together because that's a part of it too. Is waiting in line is a journey that we all need to experience to ride this. And you're essentially kind of cheating if you're just saying, well, I'll hang back for like 45 minutes and then head in when I know that they're closer to the front of the line.
Yeah, that is absolutely cheating. There are extenuating circumstances. Well, extenuating circumstances for most of these on our list.
Yes,
well, some
course.
of them.
There's always an exception.
And so Disney has implemented some new stuff with their changes with the DAS Pass, where they're going to have certain attractions with extremely long lines have the ability to exit line for like bathroom issues, like people who can't wait in long
I didn't
lines.
know that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So they're going to start installing these like exits and entrances, like midpoints through different lines to accommodate people who have, bathroom issues.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's kind of one of those things where they're not giving them a DAS pass anymore, but they're giving them a way out. But with that's a very specific situation, and there's going to be special ins and outs for that. If you're in a situation where you're in a really long queue and you have to use the restroom, you should talk to a cast member, right? And a cast member can, maybe escort you or find some way for you to get out without bothering other people, and then talk to the cast member before you leave the line to go to the restroom and say, hey, I left the line. This cast member let me do it. Can you help me get back in? And,
Yes.
that would avoid all this nonsense of people being like, excuse me, and getting, like
every person is annoyed. Every person that you're cutting in front of is annoyed.
You just made everybody mad in the line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That happened to me at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That's a big queue, man. And so people just like, going through, like I see people get agitated. And luckily I've never seen a fight break out, but that is pretty agitating, man. Like, and
have you ever seen anybody just like straight cut the line? Like no excuses, just like, I'm just going to cut this line.
I mean, again, it's one of those things where like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're doing. Like, I just picture somebody like cutting the line, like, excuse me. And someone's like, this is the single rider line, sir. Your party is not up there.
Yeah. Basically, you're like, what happens when you get all the way to the front and then the person behind you realizes like, wait, your party's not here.
But someone will notice if your party is not up there. Exactly.
But at that point, you're already at the front of the line. What are they going to do?
I do have a story, Andrew, about like single rider line. So my wife and I were in California. We were in line for Radiator Springs Racers. That's a hefty queue. We had a lightning lane. So we were cruising on through that. And we see this couple going through the single rider line. We can see them going, the single rider line was by us. And they get to the front and they ask, we can hear them because we were close to the front. We hear them ask the cast member, can we ride together? And the cast member is like, that was the single rider line. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, can we ride together? And the cast member, to their credit, stood their ground and was like, no, this is the single rider line. You have to be separated.
Way to go, cast member.
They did. A+ cast member.
A+. Yep. I'm sure everybody in the single rider line was just cheering, yes, no, wait, like that.
Yeah,
you can't cheat the single rider line.
So there's a 50-50 chance that maybe they thought it was lightning lane, or or there's a chance that they were just trying to cheat the system, which unfortunately is, kind of a hot topic in Disney right now. like we mentioned the DAS thing. For those of you who don't know, DAS is the Disability Access Service. So people with, physical or mental disabilities that keep them from being able to wait in long lines.
Yes.
They had a service. I say had because it's kind of gone now. They
Yeah.
had a service where they could be accommodated. So they wouldn't skip the line. They would kind of check into a ride and they'd have to wait the amount of time of the standby. So if
Yeah.
it's like a 60-minute standby, they have to wait that amount of time. They can wait it outside of the attraction and then they can go through the lightning lane. And that system was being abused.
Yeah.
There were
And
a lot
that's
of
the sad
people
part.
who were getting DAS who didn't need it and trying to treat it like a free lightning lane kind of program. And that's
Right.
not what it is. And then like now Disney's changed it. So a lot of people who did need DAS now don't qualify because Disney has tried to figure out how do we keep people from cheating the system. So
Right.
they've
Make it legit.
they've narrowed it so much that they're excluding so many things that like, not
Yeah.
every disability is visible, right?
Right.
Some people have mental disabilities and they can't wait. But Disney
Anxiety stuff too. Yeah.
exactly, anxiety, like all these things. I feel like Disney made the situation worse, honestly, trying
Yeah.
to
They overcorrected a little bit too much.
that's the word.
But it's
Overcorrecting.
it's hard too, right? I mean, because Disney was in a situation where everybody was trying to get DAS, and what are you going to do? Say your disability isn't as important or
isn't as valid, but that's kind of what they're doing now.
But
like
that is what they're doing now. Yeah.
I've seen so many like horror stories of like people with like terminal illnesses being turned away from DAS, or like people with like cancers or other types of things, autism, like people like with autistic kids being turned away from DAS. And
that's sad.
It's not okay. Like
I think Disney will calibrate. I think there will be some sort of calibration because they needed to overcorrect a little bit just to set a precedence, and then.
But Disney, like they've come out, like if you've read the information on the new DAS, like on Disney's website, they were harsh,
brutal,
like
a little brutal.
Like they were saying, like if you don't meet the qualifications with DAS, but still have a hard time waiting in line, then you should practice waiting in lines in other places.
No,
it's like Disney.
Disney, no.
No. And they said stuff like, if you have trouble with, being in too close proximity, then tell the people around you that you need more space. It's like, that's not for real. Like I don't know if they've changed it, but when it first came out, I read through all that stuff and it was pretty bogus. So yeah,
interesting.
On your thing of cutting in lines, yeah, Disney has tried to combat this in all these different ways, and I feel like they've made the system worse.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully there'll be some sort of calibration, but who knows, man?
Yeah, who knows? God, I feel like we went like a little downer there on the end.
I know, a little downer. Let's bring it back up.
Anyways,
again, in this episode, we're just bringing some awareness, on some behaviors that
if you're doing any of these things, be aware, or if you see people doing these kind of things, report it. Like, here's the thing. If you're in line, like I was talking about the talking during attractions, if you're in line and you're standing behind a party who's been loud and obnoxious and talking the whole time, then you need to be aware for yourself and be like, hey, that's going to bother me. And if they haven't stopped this entire time, they're probably not going to stop.
Prepare yourself for it.
Or just tell the cast member, hey, can I go on like the next boat?
Yes.
And the cast members are always like super accommodating. You can just literally tell them, like, hey,
great point.
Like, there's a loud party and I don't want to be on the boat with them. Can I wait for the next one? They will say yes to you.
Be strategic, plan ahead. There's ways to avoid a confrontation, but still enjoy your Disney experience at the same time.
There's one time we were in line for Finding Nemo attraction at Epcot. And there was this little girl, like she was a kid, and she had one of those like glow wands that like shoot the bubbles, but it was like a Little Mermaid, and it would light up and it would play the music, and she was playing with it so much that we were like, I'll bet you she's gonna play with it during the attraction. So we hung back. We let like 4 or 5 parties go ahead of us, and then we kept on going. And we got in line, we enjoyed the attraction.
Easy solutions.
There are things you can do. You can't augment people's behaviors, but there's things you can do to help yourself have a good time. And if it's beyond your control, tell a cast member.
And if it's not, and it's a situation where there is no cast member available, you're just gonna have to be patient and
suck it up, Buttercup.
And just understand. Yeah, this sometimes these things happen.
We're in a world where people, drink the water at Splash Mountain or Splash Mountain. I saw a video. Just
don't do that. Just today. Never do that. Never drink. Just we shouldn't have to say it, but might as well.
Shouldn't have to.
But might as well just say, yeah, just never drink the water at any of the boats.
I saw a video today, Andrew, of somebody sticking their head in the water at Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you know how dangerous that is? There's a track down there.
Yeah,
there's
so much mechanics.
Cables and wires, exactly. Like, you really, like, are you trying to kill yourself?
And then on top of just like the grossest water you could like submerge your face into as well.
Like, you smell that water walking in. You want to stick your face in it?
You have any pennies? Have been thrown in that water? How much copper, just like hard metals are floating out of there?
Bobbing for pennies, man. Oh my goodness. This was fun, Andrew.
Yeah.
Hey, we're winding down season 6, Andrew.
Yeah.
This is gonna be episode 16 right now, and we just have a couple more after this. This has been a blast, man.
It does not feel like basically an entire year has already gone by. It's nuts that we've been doing this for so long already.
We started this.
Yeah, I feel like I just joined.
Dude, I know, right? Like it was January when we kicked this off with our Disney covers episode. And, I wanted to do something fresh and new with Mickey in Minutes. So I brought you on, and it's just been so much fun. But yeah, we have this episode. We have a couple more after this, like 2 after this. And then we'll be calling it a season. And then we'll be back in January with some fresh new stuff as well.
We've come such a long way, man.
I think we got this now, man.
I think we got this now. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But it's been a great season. Hi Dad Soup has been awesome. That's still a thing.
And don't worry, more awesome tunes are coming.
Yeah, and you know what? It's exclusively on that one podcast episode. But Andrew, why don't we just put it on SoundCloud for everyone to hear whatever they want?
I think that's the move.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So everyone listening, do you have a pet peeve? Is there something that we didn't mention that just bothers you at the Disney parks? We want to know. We want to know what your Disney park pet peeves are.
Yeah. Hit us up on all the usual channels. And again, too, maybe something that you say will be something that we should bring awareness to the greater Disney audience as well.
Yeah, if we get enough of these, maybe we'll do another one of your your pet peeves.
Yeah, the voice of the people, things that they want other people to be aware of when they go to Disney.
Yeah, just, let's all be kind to each other, people. We all go to Disney because we enjoy it. We all go to Disney because we want to have a good time. Let's be kind to each other. Let's all have a good time together. It's a magical place. Let's be part of that magic.
And enable somebody else to have just as awesome of an experience as you are.
Exactly. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Remember, leave us a rating or a review on Apple, on Spotify. We're on YouTube, right? We put all the audio up on YouTube as well. And say hi to us on Instagram. We love talking to you guys.
See y'all soon.
Thanks again for listening to the Mickey in Minutes podcast. If you liked it, subscribe and leave a review on Apple or Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at Mickey in Minutes and check out mickeyinminutes.weebly.com for show notes and exclusive content.